YouTube doesn't have all that. Hey everybody. So look, you have to get this lady in this seat. I have been trying to get Donna on for this is like the third time I think. I have been trying to get Donna on because I think she's phenomenal and I want you all to meet her. And so I have really been trying to get on. And Donna, they all three allow us to be on all three. So
Okay.
hello LinkedIn, hello Facebook, and hello YouTube. We're doing them all three live right now.
All right, we got through.
We got through. I said, anytime I have to go through this much to get somebody on, that I just think that's Satan trying to keep somebody from being
And
blessed.
he ain't gonna win today, huh?
He doesn't get the win. He never gets the win. He never gets the win. So hello, Donna. So I've already been on and did a Ask Me Anything. Hey, Martine, glad you're joining us. Glad you're joining us. She's up in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Ooh.
Yeah, glad you're joining us. So yeah, so come on in, everybody, come on in. Meet Donna, who has a word for somebody. Who has a royal word for somebody because this is crazy. Hey, Tommy, I missed you earlier. Glad you were able to join us. So yeah, so Donna, tell them about you.
So my name is Donna Heath Gonzales. I'm originally from Jamaica. You guys could probably see the Jamaica thing in the back. I love my island.
I don't blame you.
So yeah, I'm right now in Pennsylvania, and I am the owner of a beauty supply store, Big Apple Beauty Supply. I have two stores in Pennsylvania, and I have my online store, which is Babs Hair and Beauty. And I'm also the founder of the Glamard Ford Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization that I created to honor my parents.
I know. I think that is amazing. So tell them about your nonprofit.
So my nonprofit is we help provide scholarships, do like different community events, like every year Thanksgiving time. And I was doing this before I formed the nonprofit. I do it through my business. So where we feed like 100 families every Thanksgiving, buy them turkey and stuffings and all the good stuff. We do the back to school drive, 300 backpacks we give away. One year we did a nursing home, 2019. We did a nursing home. I didn't know it was going to close down. So we gave them a Christmas dinner dance with gifts, and it was phenomenal because, that one really touched my heart after everything I've done, because these are like our grandparents. Some of them, their family left them there. I have not visited them.
Yeah.
And the oldest lady was 93 years old.
Aww.
It's just, I don't know. I was just led to do it, Linda, and I put my everything into it. So I've decided I just drove over there one day and asked the director, is anyone allowed to give a party for the residents? And they look at me like, I said, I would love to do that. I told them where my business is. And I said, just let me know what they can eat, the meal plan, everything, get them gifts. So I just called a few of my friends and we get into that mode. I went shopping. I was so excited doing it. And like turned my house into a big catering kitchen. And I know. And we cooked for them and bought them gifts like robes and socks and Christmas cards, and write their names and messages to them. And it was like a blessing, just to see they were dancing. I got a saxophonist to come and play for them. I have a whole dining room like decorated. We took over the kitchen and it was so good. Like one lady said, oh, I got a card and they even have my name on it. I have to be holding back tears.
I know.
No, and I didn't know that they were closing that nursing home down December 31st of 2019, right? 2019. So it was 3 days before that they told me, and they said, oh, so you're not going to do. I said, no. That's when I went into full mode, because I said, this is probably the last time all these residents are going to see each other again. And most of them have been living there for years. So we made sure that they had a great time. So after all the giving back I've done, that one like really hit me to the core, because I'm like, oh my God, like one day we don't know what tomorrow brings,
Girl.
And I was saying, I didn't want to do a toy drive.
Right.
Because everybody was doing
Everybody does that, right?
I'm like, the seniors are neglected at Christmas time. Let me do something different. And that's why I did that. So
I love that. I love seniors and children have my heart. And anytime we can do something, because I was my brother's caregiver. He was only 11 months older than me. And so
Mm,
we spent life together. But being his caregiver for the last 29 years of his life meant everything to me. And he was in one of those type of facilities. So I
right.
know exactly what you're talking about. They get so excited when people come in and play music or play
Right.
games with them. Or my brother loved bingo. He loved bingo, and they had a weed machine, and he loved bowling. And so
Mm,
those two things, he they would give him little certificates. They called them summit dollars, and he would like, I made money. He'd have all these summit dollars that he saved up to buy socks or buy something out of a little gift store or whatever. And
right.
that meant the world to him. So kudos to you for doing
That's
that.
good. And I try to do, and another thing that really touched my heart is I started a prom dress event called I'm Going to My Prom. And this is providing prom to young girls who providing a prom dress to young girls who were not going to go to their prom because they can't afford it. And I just think that they should not be excluded because, some of the kids are getting like hundreds of dollars, price dress and they're not.
Absolutely.
So I was able to get a lot of dresses donated, even brand new gowns. Like there was a bridal shop that gave me like 10 brand new gowns and put it together, and shoes. And I had this where my store is a vacant store there. We have it set up like you're actually going into a store. So
Yeah.
they come in and they shop, and it was like another one of those moments, because most of the young ladies usually are the ones that are in like group homes.
Yeah.
So, like they come and they're like a kid in a candy store,
I
because
know.
whatever dress fits them, that's what they get. We don't say this one is for you. No, we let them just go around
Yeah. Yeah.
dresses and stuff like that. And that is good. And then we do the scholarships also. So, it's I'm just so passionate, about giving, because I remember growing up in Jamaica, we didn't really have much. I never went to a prom, just to tell you that.
Well, you need to go to a prom. You need, but we have events here, and I went to the prom with my brother. Like my
Mhm.
brother took me and my best friend to the prom because I had a kid by that time. I had my son,
Mhm.
and definitely wasn't going to invite his dad to go to prom with me. But
Mhm.
I have a friend here. In fact, she's my stylist, Tia Taylor Clark, and she has the blessing closet. And that's exactly what she does. The blessing closet provides prom dresses for teens who wouldn't have a dress any other way. And she's
Right.
been doing this. This is her third year doing it. And like you, and in fact, this weekend, she's giving away prom dresses
Mhm.
because she takes care of them. And what they do is they wear the dress and then they bring it back so somebody else can wear it. And so
Mm.
she keeps the upkeep of it and cleaning it and doing the lovely things with it. And so shout out to you. Shout out to Tia Taylor
Yeah,
Clark.
shout out to her too. Tell her I said
Hey,
shout out, kudos to her.
yeah, but she's been doing it. She's a stylist by by birth.
Mhm.
But she always liked to help people look pretty. And she does some things at funeral homes too, like the last makeup. She does makeup for
Mhm.
people when they've passed and things. So she does a lot of wonderful things. People don't even know she does, but she does a lot of really wonderful things. And in fact, she was the one that did my brother when
Mhm.
he passed. So yeah,
Mhm.
and didn't even know he was my brother. Didn't even recognize that that's who
Wow.
that was. But yeah, but she's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. So yeah, so kudos to you for that. So let's talk about the Big Apple brand. Let's talk about that. So how did you get into a beauty supply store, and what city in Pennsylvania are you in? Because
I'm
we
in East
got like
Stroudsburg. I'm in East Stroudsburg in the beautiful Pocono
the
Mountains.
Pocono Mountains. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Exactly. That's what I thought. Most of us see that on TV. We don't even know about
Mhm.
the beautiful Poconos Mountains. But explain what that is. Tell us about your demographic there.
Actually, the Pocono Mountains used to be like a tourist resort. Back in
Mm-hmm.
the days, it's mostly like a lot of skiers, come here and stuff like that. Over the years, it has changed. A lot of us from New York and New Jersey, because I used to live in New York, which is about a little under 2 hours drive here from New York to here. We actually moved over here when cost of living was skyrocketing through the roof, the house prices. A lot of us sold our homes in New York and moved here and still commute to go work in New York.
Okay.
Because income is more in New York than it is in Pennsylvania. So I was one of them. I moved here like 15 years ago. So it was like 20 years ago that everyone started to move, like years ago when everyone used to run to Atlanta.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then Pennsylvania was next again, was next in line.
Yeah. That was the next one.
I,
Pennsylvania.
yeah. So I moved here 15 years ago. And that time I was working in finance in New Jersey. So I was still commuting. Like it took me like an hour and a half to get to work in the morning, to get to work about for like 7 o'clock. So that was a lot to deal with. And I was also in graduate school at the
Wow.
same time. I was
Wow.
pursuing my MBA in accounting. So that after work, and to drive back home, and I had, the boys were in high school then, so it was a lot. But after a while, like the driving gets so much, especially in the winter time, when you're stuck in traffic for like 3 4 5 hours trying to get to work, that's no joke.
I'm
So
sure.
I know that um I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to be my own boss. I want to have my own business. I know that was my long-term goal, but what I thought it would be is not what it is now. But sometimes you have your plans to do something, but God has another plan for you,
Absolutely.
and you
We
get
laugh
those
our plans.
detours. So, so the driving, everything was just taking a toll on me, and I was like, Lord, if it's your will, like, what is it that I should do? Let me know, make the way for me. And then I started to think that what business can I get into, regardless of what I was going to school for? What business can I get into that no matter what happens in the economy, it serves a
Mm,
need?
I heard you.
That's how I make the decision to enter the industry that I'm in now. I said, no matter what. I was thinking about a restaurant, a Jamaican restaurant, because I said, the only thing I'll need is like license and food handler's permit, because I know how to cook. I don't have to go to school for that. But then I think about beauty supply store, because health and beauty, hygiene, no matter what, pandemic or
Absolutely.
not, especially now, we need it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, but the catch to that, Linda, was I know nothing about hair. I know nothing about the beauty industry. That time, I used to use Pantene and Dark and Lovely, and that's all I know.
That's about my extent of it.
Right. So I know nothing about it. So I said, this requires some research, but I think going that route would be better for me. So I started my research and everything. And I registered the business like the end of like 2017. And I buy some stuff. I said, oh, you know what? Let me test the market at the flea market, on the weekend. So I did. December, not 2017, 2007 rather. December 27th, 2007, I tumbled down the steps in my house. I tore up my right knee, broke my
Oh
big toe, my
no.
little toe, sprained my ankle. It was a weird injury to my driving foot.
Oh
So I
mercy.
know there's no way I can go to work. And yes, I have a pity party for a week, because
Because you were hurt.
I was hurt. And my doctors, they gave me a walker. I had to use a walker. He said, you need to use a walker, because if you ever fall, you were going to have a big, big problem. So, I stayed home, but I did not stay home and feel sorry for myself.
I heard you.
I
I
was
heard
home
you.
recovering for 6 months. What I
Yes.
did in those 6 months, I used the internet to my advantage, and
Mm,
I researched the beauty supply industry during my time of recovery.
I love it. I love it.
When it was time for me to get back to work, when my doctor released me, and honestly, I wasn't feeling well. I don't think I was ready because I was still in pain,
Uh-huh.
but I was still moving forward.
Yes.
When he released me in June, I was opening up my first beauty supply store, June 8th, 2008. So I took all that time to study an industry I know nothing about. I did my market research, everything secure,
I love it.
secure my lease of space and everything. And when I call my job, instead of call them to say I'm coming back, I called them and said I quit. The lady said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm not taking your resignation. You need to think about this." I said, "I am." She said, "I'll give you a week." I didn't pay her no attention because I know I prayed. I was at peace with my decision.
Mm.
And I'm not saying back then I didn't know any conferences. I didn't have a coach. I know no one in the industry. I really take a step of faith and do
Mm.
this. I say, Lord, it's me and you. That's what
And
I
that's all you need, really, right? That's, I mean, that's
right.
it.
And then I called her back the week and said, I'm resigning. I'm not coming back. She said, are you sure? I said, yes. She said, okay, fine. I'll put you in for rehire. I said, no. I don't know. The word no just came out. She said, what? Do you know you cannot work here anymore? I said, I understand that. I'm not coming back because I was moving on into my purpose,
I heard
you
you.
know?
I heard you.
And I had my grand opening, ribbon cutting, everything launch. I literally like studied this industry like solo, and I just went full blown. And I'm not saying that it was all peachy all these
Right.
years,
Right.
it was like on the job training for me because
Yeah.
at the time when I did that 2008, you remember what was happening?
That was the market, the housing market crashed.
When everything was crashing, every
Yeah.
bank was
Yeah.
closing down. Every day we get up, another bank went under. So
Yeah.
the economy was going going like crazy. And here I am stepping out there into the unknown. But I said, you know what? I made the decision. I'm going to move forward. And and the reason why I didn't try to hold on to my job is sometimes we tend to keep that crutch. We want to
Mm.
move forward and we have that crutch. And because we know we have something to lean on, it stops us from pursuing our purpose. Well, I
Absolutely.
guess when I just put that crutch down, I just keep hopping, keep going, going, going. Yeah.
And see, I understand that because I actually finished my house. Like I started building a house March the 4th of 2008. And I
Mm-hmm.
moved in September 26th of
Mm-hmm.
2008. And that's why I know the housing market was crazy. You're like,
Everything.
you're building a house? I'm like, I said,
Sometimes you
well,
got to do it by faith. You got to do
exactly. That's right. Exactly. That is fake.
it.
And I've been in the house ever since. So, I mean, so yeah,
Yeah. So I
it
did it then. And then 3 years later, I expand that store. So I was in an 1,100 square foot, and then I expand to in the same plaza to a 2,900 square foot. So there
yeah.
was some growth there. And
Woo.
then in 2013, I opened my second store in another city, an hour away. And
Why did
then,
you do that? Why did you choose another city?
okay, so when I decided to open the store, I had a lot of inventory, and I said, I need to get rid of some of this inventory. And it was heading close to the Christmas holiday. And what I was thinking that in malls, they tend to have kiosk,
Mm-hmm.
or like you can rent for the holiday season, you get in
Mm-hmm.
like October. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, maybe I can do like a wig shop in a mall for the holiday season.
Okay.
So I went there with that intention to do that. And then the landlord, they had called me back. Actually, I didn't even know that mall. I called a friend of mine. I said, I said, um, can you tell me how many malls is around here in our area? I know just one where I live, but like the other towns. And I said, can you tell me the malls? So, and he told me the different malls. He's like, what are you up to now? You're up to something. So I told her what I'm going to do. I said, okay, fine. I went online and I found the number for the mall, the offices, and I called them. Actually, that was a Friday evening. So everyone left and I left a message. And then the Monday morning, I called them back early Monday morning. Actually, the day I even had physical therapy, the Monday, I got out of physical therapy and I called them. And they said, yeah, we got your message. One of them said, we can see you today. I said, give me 2 hours, I'll be there. And I rushed and I went up there and they showed me a space, and the space was perfect at center court. So
Mm.
I got home and I agreed to take it. And I got home, they called me and said, we look at your website and you have a lot of stuff. So we think you're going to need more space. I said, oh, no, I don't need more space. It's just for wigs and stuff. They said, you know what? Don't worry about it. If you can come like tomorrow, make another appointment, we'll show it to you. We have another space and it's bigger. And if you're willing to take it, we'll give it to you for the rent of the smaller space.
Wow.
Right.
Look
So
at God.
I'm telling you, girl. So I went back the next day. The next morning, I was up there. And this was the perfect space. Slat walls and all. I didn't have to do anything. And
Wow.
that one was 2975 square foot. was so
Wow.
much bigger. So I wasn't planning on doing anything that big. So I like partied off half of it to open. But
Yeah.
as time goes by, I end up there's like 8 years now and I'm still there. Eventually I opened up the store. Yeah, I stayed there. Even and then a year after that, that mall went into foreclosure.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I write it out. I write it out. Like when it's in, yep, the mall into foreclosure and all of that till it went into auction. And yeah, so I've been through the storm
I
and
heard you.
it went through the
I
storm.
heard you.
I launched the online store. And then where the first store is located now, what happened is I was just expanding it again
Mm-hmm.
for the third time. Another store left, so I was expanding. And so right the Friday when I finished the construction inside of it, that's the same day in 2020 when they announced the pandemic and our state announced that they're shutting the state down. I'm like, for real? So shutting the
I
state
remember that. I remember seeing the headlines opening a third store
down.
in a pandemic, and I'm thinking, she's Superwoman.
It's not superwoman. Sometimes, I guess sometimes when challenges come, we just have to try to encourage yourself and be strong. Things happen, but we cannot let it knock us down. You have to,
Absolutely.
when challenges come, you have to see the opportunities within those challenges. And
Yeah.
that's what I try to do. It's not always easy, but what are you going to do? You just have to keep pushing, 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 pushing. And that's what I do. And then the store was closed for 3 months, both of them, but that was okay. I said, you know what? I finally get some rest. That's number I said, I finally got some rest. Number two, like 3 days
I
out of
love
the
it.
week, 3 or 4 days out of the week, what I did was go up to the store to put it back together. Because remember, stuff was pulled down from the products weren't displayed. So I was in there having fun, singing around and putting everything back together. So when we're open, I was ready to go.
I
So
heard you. I
yeah, so
heard you.
so that's what I did. And through it all, the pandemic, everything, I'm just thankful that I'm able to still do what I'm passionate about. And then recently I launched the beauty box, the Babs Here beauty box. So I created a subscription box. I was like, why didn't I have this box ready during the pandemic? Everyone was trapped home and need hair and braids and stuff like that. But in time, so
Everything's happening in its own timing.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's a subscription box. It's a braiding hair subscription box that provides all enough hair for one hairstyle and all the maintenance products that you need. So it includes like the castor oil, the braid spray, the edge control, the edge brush. The ladies like their baby hair going, the bonnets to sleep in, the hair jewelry, all of that,
Oh, I love it.
educational hair care tips. It's a nice box. And then proceeds from every box is going to the scholarship fund. So when
Aw.
yeah,
I
so
love it. Still giving back. Still making a way to give back.
yes,
I love it. I love it. That's absolutely. So when you talk, I mean, and ma'am, I mean, you're just brushing over it like it's nothing. But to open a store during a pandemic is a huge feat. To open 3 stores, right?
mhm.
In a place like Pennsylvania, yeah, they had the rush of people moving in or whatever, but you still had to they didn't have a beauty store before, did they?
Yeah, when I opened, there was one there already that was on the other side of town from where I am. There was another store there. And I remember another one opened after, and then they were closed. Then another guy, one of the one that dominate the industry had opened one. And I saw like during the pandemic, one night I was passing, I see a truck. I'm like, he's moving. And, they're closed. So I've seen some pop up and come and go, but here in the Poconos is not like Philadelphia, New York City, where you find people walking the streets. So
Mm,
like you have like New York, you find like 3 beauty supply stores on one block
right,
because the population is there for that.
right.
It's not the same here. You need a car to get around, and the winter months is no joke.
I know.
So,
Yeah.
but I just believe that me always blessing my community, because when I got my store, I made a promise to God. I said, I'm going to make sure I use this business to be a blessing to my community.
I love
And
it.
I'm so thankful that I kept my word. I don't like to make promises with God and don't do it. We're not.
Absolutely, especially not to him. No,
Yeah.
it's better if you just don't do it. I mean, don't make the promise if you can't do it. But yeah, I love that. But that just speaks to your tenacity and speaks to your love of your community. Like, to be able to open stores that people actually come to keep
Mhm.
them open. That speaks huge volumes to who you are and how you conduct business.
Thank you. And it takes a lot of work. And the thing about it is, it's an industry where a lot of us are trying to get into it. We are the ones that spend all the money in it, right? But we're not the ones that really make the products that we need.
I know,
And
right?
a lot of us are trying to get into it. Some get into it and they don't last. Some of us, it's just different.
Right.
But for me, I took a different approach to it. I really took a different approach, and I lean over to the other side because I want to learn. And if I
Absolutely.
can't find anyone, at the time I say I couldn't find anyone that's willing to learn and we can collaborate and work together, well, I'm going to go to the ones that are dominating, that are making everything that we need, and have
Right.
them teach me what they know.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you know it that way, then I think you'll be pretty good. So I always try to learn as much as I can in this industry. And over the years, I've put together, like how I did it and all that stuff. And usually share a lot of my information with people, with like people who reach out to me.
Right.
But
Right.
now, like now I'm venturing into like doing consulting and
Absolutely.
teaching woman or man who wants to open beauty supply store, to teach them about behind the scenes of opening and launching their beauty supply store, because I think there's enough customers for all of us, and
Absolutely.
all we need to do is team together, pull together, and we can dominate this industry that we're pouring billions of dollars in every year.
Absolutely. And let me ask you, do you, like, when people make skincare products and things, and I'm sure you probably get the run of people wanting to get on your shelves, right?
I do get people like that call and just want to put their products there. I do buy some products and I can
Oh,
say something.
there goes technology. It was doing good up until that
Hmm.
one point.
Hmm.
So okay,
And
so say it
okay,
again because it kind
it,
of it went out
okay.
for a
So
minute.
yeah, I do get like a lot of people who have their own brands and want their product to come into the store, and I do buy some of them.
Mhm.
I do feature some. I can't feature everyone,
Absolutely.
but I do feature some of them. And I always request that get me a poster, get me something. If you're going to put your product in somebody's store, put some marketing material there, because especially if you don't know how their store is set up. If they
Right.
said they have windows where they can put it in their windows so the customers could see it. If you're in a parking, a strip mall, when they
Right.
pull the
Right.
car up, you wouldn't mind your poster being up there. And
No,
that way,
that's really good. I
yeah,
mean,
I told him that I'm like, honestly, I don't think I should go out there and go to Staples and get a poster design. Like, it's your
no,
product. Like, get me some marketing materials and we'll talk. And
absolutely.
because you don't want anything to just sit in your shelf, to sit there forever.
Exactly. And that's what I think people think about when they have friends. Because I have a young lady here that opened a beauty supply store in one of the malls where there were no black beauty supply stores
That's
at all.
good.
And so she opened hers there. And I know for her the same things, people want to get on her shelf. But like you said, they want to get on her shelf. She's giving them to the people that can buy, and they don't want to give her the marketing materials or giving her the support. And in the back of her hair supply, she actually has a beauty shop.
Mm-hmm.
I got my granddaughter's hair braided there once, and so she has beauticians that are working there, so she can give you the whole experience, like
Mm-hmm.
getting somebody to braid your hair and then getting all the products you need to keep it up and all that. And again, people want to put their skincare products and their hair care products on her shelf, but they don't want to put up the marketing for it. They want her to do the marketing for them too, and that's just a little not so.
No, it
It
doesn't work
makes it
like
a heavy
that.
lift.
Yeah, like they're paying rent to house your products.
Exactly.
Hello? The least you can do is get a poster done on Fiverr and print it at Staples, you know, like to go that route. But I think, yeah, but some do and some don't. And I'm like, I don't want any. In the beginning, I used to take them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But after I realized, I'm like, no, because once you buy the product from them, it's a wrap. You know that.
Yeah.
It's done. You're stuck with that product. It may have to just mark it down, because what people don't realize that when you don't market, especially like for Black products, manufacturers, you have to market it, because people are kind to say brand stricken. They're used to certain brand, and the big brands, they have a big marketing budget to market their stuff. So we have to try to put it out there too. Put in something in your local magazine or something. Just get it out there somewhere so more people can know about it. So then the demand is there when you put it in a beauty supply store, because not every one store is spacious and is set up or have like a showcase where they can highlight it when the customer just walks in to say, oh my God, what is that? So you have to have some marketing material, something at the point of sale checkout or something like that to help. You know, you have to work with the person that's going to put your product in there.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to understand that if you're in the hair care industry, that you should be working to try to build your brand. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes a bonus when you can tell them to go to the Big Apple store, right, to get it. Because I think what we do is we have this hair care product that, and somebody asked the question is, can we refer people? Well, here's the thing. A conversation is one thing, but do not refer people who aren't ready, because they need to have their own brand. They need to have already built their brand. And then when they put their products in a beauty store, that's just sending people where to get it. But you still have to build your own brand. You still have to do your own marketing. A lot of times they make it at home and then they want to put it on your shelves and let you do all the hard work. And that's just not how it works. You have to already build your brand. You should have a website. You should have demonstrations of how to use it. You should have a YouTube channel showing somebody the before and after results. You should, all these things right here are things that you would get if you had a business coach.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And so if those beauty brands want to consult you to learn how to build up their brands, with the long term being they may have shelf space because they paid for it, worked for it. That's a different conversation than, can I just send you a bunch of information to put your product on, my product on your store? And so that's the thing. You have to have your brands, and you have to be, like I said, a conversation is one thing, but to want to get shelf space, that's premium.
Yeah.
That's premium.
You know what too is also good. I know some brands may think it's expensive. Like, get some samples made, some sample packets made of your products. And that's a great way to get your products out there, to move it. When I opened my store, this is how I was selling a lot of products in the beginning. I had a great relationship with one of my distributors, and he always gives me like samples, cases and cases of samples. He said, this is a tough thing that you're doing. He said, this business is not easy to get into and to stay into. He said, you're just quitting your job and do it. And say, you're brave. He told me. And he said, is there anything I can do to help you? I'll help you. So I ordered my first set of products there. And he said, you know what I'll do? I'll get you some samples. And whenever a company gets samples, I'll give it to you. And I had cases of samples. So I always give my customers samples with everything they purchase. Like over the years, up to this day, they'll come. You don't give out samples anymore.
But that's a great way to test your market, right? That's a great way to before you go all in to spending all the money to get the big jars and all this. Everybody wants to see their name on their label and all the things, the big stuff, the bells and whistles. But I always tell business owners, start small, and then providing those samples will tell you what the market is willing to pay for, right? Because that's what you want to do. You want to find the things that the market approves of and is willing to pay for.
That's
So that's a
true.
wonderful
So
idea. That's
yeah,
an excellent idea.
that really helped me to the point where a customer will just come in. Donna, do you have what samples do you have? And I'm looking at them like I'm not paying rent just to give away samples. I'm thinking because they know that they can get samples here.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just but since the pandemic, that has changed. Most of those
Right.
companies are
And
not.
in prices, and then with the pandemic on top of inflation,
Yes.
because it's costing more to produce products now.
Hmm.
And so that's something that could go against it as well. But it's still, I mean, even in that, you have to just think how to work smarter
Yes.
and leaner and still get the same results.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it can still work. But just to tell you, I mean, it's a tough one sometimes. There are challenges, but you just have to keep going and keep persevering. And that's what I've done. And I know that if we can just work together, it will
Absolutely.
work for us. We
Absolutely.
can
I truly
scale just
believe
like
that.
everybody else.
I truly believe that. I truly
There
believe
is enough customers out there in the world for all of us, so we can do it and do it right.
Right,
And
and we all have hair like today. I'm on with the beauty brand, so I had to put my extra hair on. Today, yesterday I was natural.
don't worry, like I put my extra hair on too, honey. This is a nice wig I'm rocking. I can tell you that.
Look, I need to be looking to see what kind of wigs you have up there because I'm trying to get into it because COVID has really done my hair a job. I mean,
Mhm.
I am that close to getting the clippers and just shaving it all off and starting over again. I get
Mhm.
these clumps of hair.
Yeah, just cut
Whew,
it off and just
and just start over.
just be
I'm that close. I'm
just
that
do
close,
it.
and I
And be a
enjoy doing
different
this. Like this is easy for me.
just you know what? You could just do it and just be a different girl every day.
Absolutely, and I love being different. I never know who's gonna show up.
I know. I know. Yeah.
But that's one of the great things about being a woman is you get to change it up every now and then. But
Mhm.
yeah, so do you have and because all your information was in the other because we were going to be on earlier and then
Right.
our schedules got whatever, but all the information to contact you was in the other feed. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to add those links to this feed as well
Sure. Mhm.
so that everybody can have them. But I want them to reach out to you and tell you they saw this here and understanding about the beauty brand that's up in northeast
Northeast
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and so do you have an online store?
Yes, I do have an online store, and my online store is babshair.com. So that's babshair.com.
So
That's
let's put that in there. BAB.
shair.com.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay, babshair.com. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's your online store.
That's my online store. I
Yeah.
use that Babs here because I was thinking the Big Apple Beauty Supply was so long. So I took the first letter from each word, Big Apple Beauty Supply, and do babshair.com. So that's how I
I like that. I like you know what I was thinking of, it was talking about. You remember the movie with Halle Berry and it was
Mhm.
called Bad.
No.
I was like, okay, I was relating it to that. So now I have clarity. Now I know why you did it. So yeah, and
Yeah.
it makes sense. It makes it makes good sense. Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah. So they can check you out there in the interim. But I'm gonna also put your information in this in the description for this for people to see it later. And yeah, so talk about if somebody has the idea of being a beauty brand, a beauty supply store, what two or three things do they need to know from you?
Okay. If they want to be to own their own beauty supply store, what they need to know. Um, One thing I will say, make sure you get the right registration.
Mm.
Register your business, decide on your entity and just do it straight. It's not a side hustle, you know. I'm just telling you, just be straight up with it because, number one, it's not easy for a lot of us to get accounts with a lot of the vendors. And if
Mm.
you're not legit, you're not getting it. And so many times I've heard people saying they try to get the top brands of hair, which we know that A lot of the top brands. Some people won't buy certain hair unless braiding hair, unless they know it's sensational or something like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
make sure your registration is up to par if you're going to try to approach these people to carry their products,
I
whether they
love
give you credit terms or you have to prepay your order. Make sure you have the right license that's actually needed.
I
And,
love that. I love
and
that.
another thing, on a personal note, I'll say, if you decide to open up a beauty supply store, why are you going to do it? Don't do it because you're trying to knock your sister or brother out of business. Not because they have a store there, you think you're going to open your shop right beside them to knock them out of business. Don't do that. Don't compete like that. Do your market research, go somewhere else. I'm saying don't go so close, because we should be working together, not
And
working
yeah,
with each other.
and there's enough. I remember it was a company here
Mm-hmm.
that opened their beauty store, and what I was going to suggest is there was already another one more prominent in not in the exact area, but a few miles away. And I was going to suggest it would be great for them to carry the products that the other one didn't carry,
Mm-hmm.
and then education came with that, right? But it was a great opportunity. I thought a great opportunity, but they were like, well, we're just not ready. They didn't want to do a video. They didn't want to tell everybody they were there, because I used to go, like, when I found out there's a new shop, I before COVID, I would go to that business owner and put them on blast,
Mm-hmm.
and tell people, I'm introducing you to this business. This is what they do, da da da, trying to get traffic to them, because traffic is the lifeblood for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my way of plugging businesses in. And they just were like, no, and they were carrying the exact same products the other prominent business was carrying. And like I said, they were like just a couple of miles away, and they're no longer there.
Because when businesses are so close to each other, then something called price war starts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because then the customer, like, oh, let me go over there and see how much they have it for, and go over there, and then they start going down to the penny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the store owners, they themselves have a thing going, like, today they're cutting their stuff down by $1 just to bring everybody, and then you waste so much energy battling that, than just say, okay, let me stay in my radius, 20 miles away, 30 miles away. And then, because not everyone would want to drive that far, but at least you're not
Right.
in anyone's path.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you have a product or service that somebody actually wants,
Mm-hmm.
so we have two we have two Baskin Robbins here, and
Mm-hmm.
both of them about 10 miles from me.
Mm.
But when I want ice cream, that's all I want. And so I'll drive the 10 miles to get Baskin Robbins, Baskin, Sonics, and all these other places that sell ice cream. But I
Mm-hmm.
will drive that to get to what I want. And that's exactly how it is with haircut products. If you sell a haircut product that people want, they'll drive. I mean, you said 20 miles, you know, they will go as far as they need to go to get what they want.
They will. I will. I have customers, like the one store that's like an hour away from me. I have customers who drove like 2 miles. I mean, 2 hours. I'm sorry. I have this one couple, like they're 2.5 hours away from my store. So every month or every like 6 weeks, she will come by and stock up because there's none in her area. So I do have people that come from afar, because if you're fully stocked and you carry like just about 90% of the major hair brands, in the country, then people will travel to,
Yeah.
to get what they want. So that's
Yeah.
why I was saying that just be mindful where you decide to open up your store. You open up a store to have a business, to build a legacy. You're not opening up a store to knock your brother and sister out of business or to compete with them.
Absolutely. And I did a class on marketing research last week. And that
Mhm.
was the thing. Like you talked about, you have to know your market, like
Yes.
knowing what they want. Like you
Mhm.
can't assume that if I like it, they're going to like it.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
all about what they like.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So,
Especially haircut products.
especially hair products, and I think now, like, since the pandemic, this whole the hair industry has blew up, because then a lot of people say they have online store. Some of them don't have a physical store or warehouse for their
Hmm.
online. They're just like, or affiliates, more and more people are doing it. So now you have to be intentional. And when you're doing it, just get the right, there's coaching out there, there's resources out there. So just find the right source and educate yourself on the process, because it looks easy. It's not, it's easy, but it's not easy,
Yeah. No, the good ones make it look easy. The good ones always they always make it look like it's easier than it really is. Like you get in and be like, oh, this is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of sacrifice, because as with business, it's retail, and retail is a revolving door, and it has its challenges. And like right now, the number one challenge is manpower. Just having a staff.
Everybody, yeah.
And for us in this business, it has always been that. And it's not just finding people to work, it's finding honest people to work. Honest people to work.
Okay. I heard
you got that one.
I heard it. I understand totally what you're saying.
Okay.
I understand totally.
That's
the thing though, and so going into entrepreneurship period right now, if your your business idea is something that you are going to need assistance with, then those are very valid questions for a very valid time that we're in right here. But yeah, and so understanding that, but so you have become a guru now in the hair care product.
So?
Yeah, all this training, you have become a guru now. And so what one thing do you know now that you wish you had known when you started? Like looking back into those first startup years, those first 5 years, what things had you known back then may have propelled you further now?
I think when I first started, right, because I quit my job, I'm thinking that I'm going to do this business. And then my son were in high school, my boys were in high school, so I would have them come to the store and work after school sometimes, or on the weekends. So I'm thinking that I have the support for now. It's just me, because I didn't want to quit my job to open a business to sit home and have somebody work the business. And this was new to me, so there's still a lot for me to learn.
Right.
If I had like a team to begin with, like what I know now, if there was a team to begin with, I would have been able to work more on my business than work in it.
I heard you.
And that's the thing. So there are so many things that I had written down that I wanted to do for the business that sometimes I don't get a chance to do it, because when you work retail all day long, the end of the day, you're tired.
I'm sure.
And I push myself. So that's one thing, but that's a learning, that was just a learning lesson for me. And that's something that I can tell others that to plan for that, plan to have some kind of assistance there at some point. Maybe if you have to get some college students or, something like that, volunteers, but have some kind of help so you can, even if it's a day you can take to work on your business, to do your budgeting, your goals and everything like that, so you can know what's going on.
Absolutely. I always tell my business owners to utilize the internship programs that the colleges have, because it's even if you can't pay them top dollar or whatever, them being there can help you with your social media. They can help you get ideas from a different generation, and the exchange is you're giving them a upfront hands-on experience in marketing and retail in these fields that they're in college. And so, and then they get college credit for doing the internships. So understanding that and then utilizing it, because they're small businesses, they're here to help us because they hope to be us, right?
Yes.
So this understanding and utilizing and taking advantage of those. A lot of people I talk to are like, I can do that? I can get interns? Well, yeah.
Yeah, that is there, because actually I recently reached out to one of the local colleges here. I don't know if now they're doing it because of the times that we're in and the safety of the students, but I'm thinking if it's like for social media, they don't have to be at the same time. Exactly. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, so this has been wonderful, honey. That's why you couldn't get on. You were gonna drop all these nuggets.
And you know what? There's one other thing I would really
Yeah,
like to tell, like,
sure.
my people, if you decide to open a beauty supply store, find some way to give back to your community. Like,
Absolutely.
literally, find some way. However, if it's snack for after school program, just do something for the community, because a lot of people will look at what you do, and sometimes they may say, you know what, I'm not ordering at Amazon, let me go over there because she's always doing
Doing
something.
something for the community.
Yeah.
Exactly. I make sure every year that my business does something that is socially responsible. And I'm not in hair care, but I think all businesses should make it a part of their business model to do something to give back in
Mm-hmm.
some kind of way, shape, or form. And for me, this year, on Monday, I'm spending time. We have a place here for women who are in crisis with
Mm-hmm.
children called Chattanooga Room at the End. And so Monday, I am actually doing a motivational presentation for the ladies there. And I hadn't done it in a while. But every year, I try to make sure I do something. Like 2020, I donated services to 17 Black entrepreneurs who needed to understand how to do business well. Because
Mm-hmm.
what happened was when I learned that 60% of the Black businesses that applied for PPP didn't qualify because
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have paperwork, we didn't have records showing we paid.
Payroll.
Yeah, payroll, didn't have licensing. Those are basic things that businesses need to have in place. And so my giving back to the community that year was to mentor these businesses
Mm.
and give them access. I charged them $10 and I only did that because this stuff is heavy and you need to have some skin in the game and
Right.
commit to the process. Because for most of them, they hadn't had that experience before where somebody sit down and taught them how to build out their own businesses. And
Mm-hmm.
so of the 17, 9 actually finished the program. And of the 9, 3 are still in business and doing well,
Oh, that's awesome.
utilizing what they learned. Absolutely. So it's important that we give back. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
have to give back. We
Mm-hmm.
really
You
have to give back.
definitely. And
Absolutely.
Linda, you don't know who is watching what you're doing out there.
No.
You don't know what opportunities can open up for you when
Right.
you give back. It could be the people from your township, your community, the chamber, someone, your local representative. Because when I had one year when I had the Backs to School drive, the state representative for our area, she came out. And when I looked, the car pulled up. She came out and said, "Oh, this is so good. You should call our office and let us know when you're having these stuff and we'll put it out there." But
Aw.
I'm so behind the scenes person. She said, "Oh, no, you're not supposed to do that." And I didn't know she came to present me an award,
Aw.
a certificate of recognition from the state of Pennsylvania for doing that. Because I didn't know she was hiding something all along. Everybody was looking at me funny. I'm like, I don't know what it was. But
Aw.
like, just do that, because that will help. Like, you're not doing it to get recognition,
No.
but people are seeing, and then when you're doing more, you will get help. Because in 2008, I was awarded the Businesswoman of the Year award in
Aw.
Monroe County, Pennsylvania, for all my
Congratulations.
community work. I was a hot mess because I didn't expect it. I could not compose myself at the luncheon today. And it's just everything that I've been doing in the community. I was
Mm,
nominated for that. And just to see the other people that were nominated were like doctors, one year the
mm,
mayor, and other business people, like what women are doing. So it's good. And then after that, when I have like the prom dress and other events, they call and say, we have some donations for you. We can
I love
donate stuff for it, so you don't have to keep doing it yourself. So I would like advise my sisters and brothers, like, go ahead and give back to the community. No one's putting a dollar
Absolutely.
amount on what you're doing, but do
Absolutely.
something for your community and be a blessing in what you receive, and it will come back. It will come back.
Absolutely. I agree. I could not agree more. I mean, and it's not for the recognition or
Mhm.
anything. It's just that it's our duty. I feel like it's my duty to make sure that I serve my community in more than just take from my community, you know?
Exactly.
And so, and by giving these events that I don't charge anything, if anything, I'm bringing and giving and offering things to have books that I've written and all these other things to empower people to have better lives. Like I love when I get to hear about somebody that I've totally forgotten about because the mind doesn't hold on to it.
Yep.
Don't hold on to it. It's like, well, you said this or you did this, and I'll be like, okay, because you don't do it for the recognition. You do it because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do.
And by doing all these things too, we're also like paving the path for the young people.
Absolutely.
A lot of young people wants to have their own business stuff. This year, we see a lot of kids are having their own business. So if we show them what to do from a very young age, that would be great.
Absolutely. I want to do a trades expo where young people can come and learn about the trades.
Wow.
Because if they can learn about the trades, they'll always have a job.
Absolutely.
If they get good at doing trades, they'll always have a job. We thought that technology was going to give us everything we need, and there's just some trades technology can't do.
That's true. Absolutely.
And so by learning God has been sending these guys who are just phenomenal in what they do in the trades field. I have a guy that works on an oil rig, another that's an electrician. I mean, these guys with these different skill sets. And I'm thinking these teenage boys, if they can get in it now, like the guy that works on that oil rig, he has built a house in a very prominent part of town.
Wow.
And he is like, there's not a lot of us out there. He said he goes away for 6 months, but while he's away, he's making money and he's sending money back. And he has a very nice house in a very nice community.
Yeah. So if we can teach our young people that would be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he's willing. So I'm still, it's in my head. I was looking at March, but I need
the vision, Linda. The vision.
I need COVID to go away. Leave it alone. Because I had to fight through COVID once. And I don't know if I have enough in me to fight twice. I don't know if I have enough in me to do it a second time. So
look, it's
problem.
Uh-oh.
But in any case, I'm going to hold that right there. In any case, I just thank you. Well, I'm holding on to it so it don't fall further. But I just thank you for the time that you've spent with me. And I think this was worth it. I think this was worth the wait.
It was. We finally made it.
We finally made it after 3 tries. 3 tries. We got it done. So thank you. If you'll hold on for a minute. My name is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the business plug. I just plugged you in to the fact that you can get to know the Big Apple Beauty brand of beauty supply in Pennsylvania. You all have a great night, and I'll see you next Sunday at 7:00 p.m. Good night, everyone.
Good night.